Hello, my special friends. You are on the fifth dimensional road. Dear sons and daughters of planet Earth, I am Mary. I love being here once again, covering each of you with my mantle, giving you love, protection, and enlightenment. Each day that goes by, more and more of you are involved in all of this energy that comes to this planet. Some of you are not aware. You cannot distinguish between then and now. So I ask each one to go back in time and start comparing how you were and how you are today. Nothing is the same. Nothing looks more like what it used to be. If you keep insisting that nothing has changed, reflect, look inside yourself, observe your way of thinking, your way of speaking, your way of acting. If you still don't notice anything that has changed, then I tell you, your ego is blocking your way, not allowing you to believe in the change and what is actually happening. So, right now, don't label yourself as a conscious being, aware of the moment you're living in, because you're denying everything. You don't see chance. So, how can you be a conscious being walking the fifth dimensional road? So get off the road. You are not on it. You are not on it. Do not fool yourself. If your ego is still big enough to keep you from seeing your truth, then make no mistake, start the trajectory all over again, because you are not going anywhere. Those who actually believe perceive the change in themselves, even in those around them. The small changes appear. It is a comment that they don't even seem to be aware of what they are saying, but that you notice a change. Every feeling, every way of acting, every word said, every wrong move not done is a sign. From what? That you are on the road, you are on the fifth dimensional road. The intent here is not to discourage anyone. It is not to make anyone surprised or upset. It's just important that you all know the path you're taking. Many continue to deceive themselves, continue to let the ego do the talking, but still believe they are on the road. So the time has come for us to come here and say, no, you are not. Your duality, your feelings, your thoughts, everything you do, which is supposed to be aimed at the other, has to have you in the first place. So your ego is talking louder. I am not saying here that it is wrong for you to put yourself first. No, it's not. What I'm talking about is, you do it for the other, but thinking about yourself, that's ego. We have said here, and we will always repeat, do only what is good for you. Because being good for you, you will do it with love for the other. This is love. This is loving yourself and then loving the other. And there is no ego in it. What you cannot do is do something for the other, but that brings benefits to you. Then you will not be doing it from the heart. you will be aiming for your benefit. This is ego. The boundaries in actions and feelings between ego and non-ego are very thin. We recognize that, but whenever you are in a doubt, whether or not the ego is talking, notice the feeling you are putting. What is the purpose of what you are doing? And answer honestly, and you will understand whether you are doing it for the other or for yourself. Analyze their positions. Living without the ego is impossible. Otherwise, you would give up your security. So, it's necessary. But I say, you have to learn to educate it. Let it surface only at the right time. At the moment of survival, at the moment of you have to make a decision between you and the other. In these cases, the ego has to appear. Keep trying. Don't be discouraged. If you still can't figure it all out, the moment is still for learning. Classes are not ever. Let's say that you started this long faculty of consciousness a very short time ago, and as the days, months, years go by, you will learn more and more. It is up to each of you to study hard, with attention, with love, each teaching that is dictated. Anyone who studies, who gives in, who commits, sees the result. There is no denying it. The result is visible. It is scandalously visible. The change is fantastic. What's more, there is no going back. As much as you try, you can no longer repeat things you did in the past. Because consciousness has expanded, their brains have taken new directions. Those old ways have been erased from memory, and the brain is no longer there. For those who I said were off the road and were making a mistake, go back to studying, start teaching again. It is not forbidden to go back. It is not forbidden to start again. On the contrary, if you admit that you have not really learned anything, I assure you that this is a big step because you have put your ego in its place and are ready to start studying. Today you have countless study tools, books, procedures, meditations, and vast and a wide collection of techniques and instruments, which, if done with love, with dedication, with great dedication, accelerate your step on that road to the fifth dimension. Don't ever regret anything you did, because if that happens, unfortunately you're back on that road a lot. Because you didn't know how to value what was received, if you didn't understand, if you didn't feel anything, if you didn't notice any chance, repeat until you are aware of what was done. It's not the technique, it's not the procedure, it's not meditation that didn't work. You weren't ready for it. You didn't believe it, and as a result you received nothing. Start over. Do as many times as necessary. Many people miss this step, get a little angry at themselves for making a mistake, but they start over and will start over as often as necessary, so that they can get there. And why do you make mistakes? It's not entirely lack of attention, because in that exercise, that you're doing. There is an energy, and when that energy realizes that you are not doing it the way you should, it makes you wrong so that you start over. And each time you start again, you become more applied because you don't want to make mistakes anymore. And then the flow will continue, and you will no longer make mistakes. So don't be angry, don't judge yourself. You just started at a time when it wasn't right, and you got carried away. And when you start again, you come with a lot more drive, with a lot more love, and then everything works. Don't complain about repeating anything. Don't complain about getting back on the road. It's part of learning. It's part of walking. Not everyone gets a 10 in school. Each step forward has to be a 10th grade. The lower the grade, the bigger the step backwards you take. But when you study again, when you devote yourself to studies again, you go forward, and when you take the test again, that grade goes up. If you studied low and hard, the note increases, and then even if you come back, the step is lower. The walk is always forward. Yes, you come back, but move forward. The more dedication, the more study, the more understanding you have, the further you go. And when a little mistake happens and you come back, you practically don't come back very much. It's as if the scale of that road gets smaller over time, where at the start each step is 1 meter. After a while, that step changes to 90 centimeter. Over time, the step is 80 centimeter. The closer you get to the home stretch, to reaching the 5th dimension, this step becomes smaller. So when you go back, you don't go back 1 meter to meter. You will be going back centimeters, because you're already there in front of the road. So realize that you never lose. The wisdom of Father, Mother God is magnificent, and the more you get to the end of the studies, the little mistakes become small, and the feedback is almost imperceptible. But you need to be there at the front, because while you are still at the beginning, the payoff is pretty big, and the step is still big. Practically, you are negative all the time, but there will come a time when you will take steps forward, and even the steps taken back will hardly affect your journey. So what's the big goal? Moving further and further forward. And how do I get it? Studying, dedicating, committing to light, studies, everything you are taught, and doing everything with great love. And rest assured that the journey, in addition to the step being smaller, to walk forwards and to walk backwards, it becomes easier. Sure, with each step forward, it becomes easier and easier. Channeled by 𝐒𝐨𝐿𝐿𝑢's therapies.